and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this is the Off the Dome Show with your hosts, Thomas Brown Jr. and our lovely co-host, Brock Vierra. How are you doing, sir? How are we feeling today, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Ready to rock and roll, man. It's going to be a very interesting and very entertaining show, as always. Before we get into it, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. We're on YouTube, Twitch, and everything else. So join us. Okay. We're going to talk about quite a bit, man. We got the NFL's rule changes that are pretty abysmal, to say the least, and we're going to get into that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Eastern Conference is going on in the NBA, and the little musical chairs is going on over there. And then we're gonna hit a little bit on a deeper topic with funerals, which should be very interesting. And then the last one we'll cover, which I'm very interested to see how this goes. the mom/son versus mom/daughter combination dynamic comparison. So let's start with the NFL's rule changes. Let's start with it, man. By the way, if you want to know what my instant reaction is to it, sometimes all you need to have is a sound effect itself. Wow. I'm gonna let you start, man. I'm gonna let you be the home run hitter on this one. Where you want to go with this?
You know, bro, it's not. I don't dislike the rule change because I understand that this tackle does result in injuries. What I hate is the hypocrisy of the NFL. And what I mean by that is they have taken all these steps to, quote unquote, make the game safer in terms of violence on the field, but they still perpetuate behaviors and activities that makes it unsafe for the players, such as Thursday night games after Sunday games, wanting to extend the schedule by one game, having all these international games, doing everything like this. Like, what are we doing? Because it feels very, how do you put it, hypocritical. So that's how I feel about the rule changes. Also, the kickoffs are gonna suck, and I'm so sad about that.
but okay, so I talked about it on my podcast, the DK and Tree podcast, live on YouTube and everything else. I talked about how much the rule change didn't make sense, right? Because for me, I could have sworn, and correct me if I'm wrong, I could have sworn 2 seasons ago, we didn't know anything about a hip drop tackle, anything. We didn't even know that exists as a tackle. We that just wasn't a thing. So we go from that to now we're banning it. And usually when something's banned, what is implied with the banning is that there was some intentionality behind it, and it was done to such an egregious degree that we had to take it out of the game or take it out of whatever we're doing. Mm-hmm. That hip drop tackle that everybody likes to make it seem like it's such a car crash, such a car wreck, is an accident. I don't think any tackler, I don't think any linebacker, I don't think any safety, I don't think any corner sits up there and says in their right mind when they're getting ready to tackle a ball carrier, you know what? Instead of me trying to size you up and try to bring you down, I'm gonna purposely turn my body at a certain angle and put all of my body weight so that way it can catch your momentum and have all your body weight land on your lower extremities. I don't think that's how that works. I just don't think that's how that works. So it just boggles my mind that after we had little snippets of conversation about it last year once the season was over, and then it became a big thing this year once the season was over. Then now we're just going to instantly ban it. So now it drives another question of, so how do we tackle now? Because if you remember a few years ago, there was the whole hit mark area where you couldn't hit high, you couldn't hit low. And if you did, it was a 15-yard penalty, sometimes a suspension, depending on how egregious or how reckless the hit was. So
Fair.
all you had was in between here, was this chest area, this torso area. That was it, right? So now we go from that to now we have to actually tackle in a much more robotic manner than ever before. Like seriously, I'm curious to know when we watch this season how tackles are going to be made, because I don't know how you can stop a Derrick Henry that's coming at you with full speed, with nothing but power, and you know, if you think he's going to stop his speed just so that way you can tackle him, not happening.
No.
Right? I don't know how you expect a tackler to handle Lamar Jackson's speed, or Christian McCaffrey shiftiness when he starts doing his jukes. Like, how do you expect for a linebacker or a corner to tackle him? He's just supposed to sit there and be like, two-hand touch. Is that where we're going now? Is this going to be a whole bunch of two-hand touches? Hit the flag. Come on, man.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that, because there's still a violent element to the game, like especially on the offensive defensive line. Like, they're hitting every play. But I get where you're coming from. What I just don't understand is why haven't we accepted that no matter what we do is wrong? Like, football's not a sport that's meant to be played. Like, when you think about the dawn of time and the creation of man, nowhere in that evolutionary track should football exist. It's a dumbass game played by dumbass people, loved by dumbass people like myself. There is no reason we should be colliding with another human at ungodly speeds, in any position. There is no reason we should be hopping in the air to snatch a ball from the sky and then plant our entire body back first onto the ground. Why did we play on AstroTurf? That was stupid.
That was crazy.
Now we're playing artificial. Like, none of this is none of this was like meant to be. This is not nature. This is stupid. So how about we just face the facts that this is a violent game, and violent games are played by violent people who need to be violent in order to win the game.
Thank you.
Just let them hit each other. If they know what they're doing, just crack them. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yes, and again, like, we're not. I think we're both in agreement when we say I'm not asking for, knockout type of tackles where people are out of the game. We're not asking for that. What I'm saying is you're putting the defense in this sounds very oxymoronic to say, a defenseless position now. Okay. because how do you expect the defender to respond when a juke happens, or when a spin move happens, or when when they drop the shoulder and they're getting ready to do a hit stick, if you will? How do you expect for the defender to react? How?
How?
Oh, I'm gonna hug you. Does that count? Like, come on, dog. Like that's crazy. And then now we're gonna segue into the kickoff rule, which, oh my God. Okay, so in case y'all didn't know, and y'all been living under a rock for like a week and some change, the new kickoff rule is basically the kicking and receiving teams, the blockers, are within 5 yards between each other. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're right.
And the blocking doesn't start. I'm laughing because it's insane.
Yes.
The blocking doesn't start until the returner catches the ball and starts running. Now, the number one question I have to ask is, number one, how in the hell am I supposed to know as a return blocker that my returner has received the ball? Will there be a whistle a horn that's gonna be played throughout the stadium? Is there gonna be like a cadence, like a 1, 2, 3? How am I supposed to know that I'm gonna be blocking?
No, it's not quite. I think that you can. I think you look back at the guy and then you go. I'm not too sure, honestly. Like, that's what
Okay,
that's what I
confusing.
think you do. But like, I don't know. This seems kind of awful. If I'm being honest, like this nothing about this seems fun. I'm
Right.
sorry. Like, I grew up on Devin Hester, so I have a different appreciation for it. But like,
Yeah. hmm
this is
Devin
awful.
Hester, Devin Hester, Percy Harvin.
Yeah, Percy
You
was
know,
cold.
yeah, like Kadarius Patterson for
Odell.
some of the younger viewers. You know,
Yep.
like returning, it never guaranteed a touchdown,
No.
but when it did transpire, oh, it was one of the best plays in the game
Oh, without a
every
doubt.
time.
Every single time.
Okay, so this is where the oxymoronic comes into play when it comes to the whole kickoff rule.
Okay.
Because the second thing that came to mind was, it's so funny that we talk about player safety with the reasoning why we banned the hip drop tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just ignore the player safety of the kicker that's kicking the ball off during this kickoff rule. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. If you think the kicker is going to be untouched throughout this entire exchange, you're sadly mistaken. So he's going to kick this ball, have the return. There's obviously going to be more return blockers than kick return blockers.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those blockers are going to send that kicker to the gulags, and he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. And we're going to be like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was possible. Player safety, ladies and gentlemen.
So
what?
I will admit, when I saw this thing, so I was covering the Vegas Vipers, and I saw this thing live on the XFL. It wasn't too bad for the kickers. I never saw anyone get lit up, but I understand what your concern is. To me, it just like, I don't know. This doesn't feel right. The kickoff is like the gun going off at a race. It is like a sense of occasion. It is an ambiance, a moment of violence, of warriorship, of command. A moment that this was about to be a battle, a war. It almost took you back to a time in which you would literally sit on a hillside and watch people fight in a war. That's what a kickoff felt like. Now it's just a little like, let's let out 10 yards to each other and see what happens. Like, I don't know. It feels like such a letdown from an institution that was so fun.
Yeah, and just to coin it off, I made a joke about this on my Instagram. I said, at this point, it looks like we're going to have NBA scores for NFL games. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we mess around and have a final score of 96, 88, 107 to 94. Don't be surprised if those scores pop up on the screen, because there's not going to be any tackles to be made, and there's going to be so many kickoff returns for touchdowns that it's going to be senseless. So I'm preparing everybody now so that they're not surprised when this season is upon us. But speaking of the NBA, let's talk about the NBA Eastern Conference. Now, I know everybody is not too keen on them because, you know, it's not like the West that I mentioned on last week's show. But there is some teams in there that's making some noise and causing a ruckus. We have the Knicks and the Cavs at 44 wins so far. Magic at 42. Magic, I can't believe I'm saying that with a straight face.
Yeah, right.
I'm saying that with a straight face. The Magic with 42 at the 5th spot. And the Pacers with 41. So that 3 to 6 spot is very interchangeable as the season continues to wane down. Now we have a solid 9 to 10 games left. But what do you think about the Eastern Conference, man?
I'm surprised Rick Carlisle still has a job. I thought he was going to be a bust this year.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not too sure because I don't know who to pick as my favorite because they all have like various fatal flaws in them that can be
Hmm.
exposed by anyone at any time. Like
Right.
I don't think that it's a walk in the park for the Celtics. I actually think it's the
Me
complete
either.
opposite. I think that they're gonna lose in the Eastern Conference Finals to whomever. I don't know who.
Oh, really?
I don't even think they make the finals.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
like
Wow.
I don't
Interesting.
know something about I can't put my finger on it. I can't. I'm sorry, but there's something about Missoula that throws me off. That I'm like when it's the big moment, you're gonna suck, and I know that's terrible to say, and I don't want to be rude, but that's how I feel. Quite frankly, I
Right.
because the problem is I'm stuck. I'm a guy that's stuck in the past. And
Okay.
what I mean by that is there's certain tendencies I see from teams that I just mentally cannot get out of my head. One of
Hmm.
those is that the Sixers will find a way to suck. Like the Bucks don't have the coaching.
Hmm.
The um the Sixers don't have the resume. Like they can actually get it done, especially with Joel Embiid being out for so long. Like how is that going to happen when he reintegrates? Like it's going to be like
Yeah.
it just takes it back to remember last year's Eastern Conference semifinal. That was between Philadelphia and what's it called
Boston.
Boston, right?
Yeah. Hmm. Yep.
So like they when it felt like when Embiid came back, they were all out of sorts,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel about this situation. Um, let's see what else. Yeah, no, I just don't know who to like rock with. Honestly, if I'm being frank about it.
That's fair. That's fair. I think with the Eastern Conference these days, I think people have to understand that no one's safe. That's the best way to describe the Eastern Conference.
That's
I
fair.
think I think so if I had to put a finger on it, which I will, I'll do it for every single team that's in the playoff race. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start with the Celtics. The
Okay.
Celtics just have a tendency to not show up in the biggest moments,
Mm-hmm.
led by the guy in Jason Tatum, who has a tendency to not show up in the biggest moments sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, he has his moments where he drops 50, and then the following 2 games, he drops 20. Then it's like, okay, what happened? Um, and the problem is with a guy like Jason Tatum that scores a lot, you're not really asking for him to do anything else on the floor. So how does his 20 impact the team? Well, as you've seen recently, sometimes it don't even matter because they don't get the job done in the fourth quarter, then they might be screwed altogether. Granted,
Yeah.
it's the Hawks. We probably shouldn't care, but it's something to keep an eye on, right? So
I,
that's the Celtics.
my question is so
Yeah.
I question Tatum's clutchness. I question Brown's consistency. And Al
Okay.
Horford's old as hell. What happens if Porzingis goes out? I think they're screwed. I'm not
It's
trying to
kind
like
of
put that
true.
out there. I just like I think Porzingis is the only glue that like fits this thing together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the thing about Porzingis and the reason why he's so pivotal to them having the best record in the NBA is the fact that he has what we thought he was going to be when he was in New York and what he showed flashes of when he was in New York. Um, and the flashes that he showed when he was in Dallas. Like he's really putting that together in Boston. The rim protector, the spacer, shooting the three, doing well in the post, being a factor, just being a disruptor, no matter what side of the court he's on. Um, that's just how pivotal he is, right? And so when you remove that, when you remove a guy who's averaging 28 and 5, like it's like you expect for Al Horford to replace that? No.
Yeah.
Like it would be different if you had a Robert Williams there, but you don't, because at the very least you would still have that rim protector, that kind of aspect to your defense, but
Hmm.
that's not there. Right.
Yep.
So I think Porzingis is definitely the X factor for them if they plan on going on any kind of a deep playoff run. So that's Boston. Then you have the Bucks, like you just mentioned. Oh my God, can we get some chemistry, please,
Yo,
between
for real.
between Giannis and Dame, please? Because I promise you, they just I don't know what it is. Like I know obviously the coaching changes, 2 coaching changes within one season is quite uh boy, that's just not smart. But then again, this is the bed that y'all made, and now y'all going to lay in it because y'all
Mhm.
didn't have to get rid of both coaches actually, because both coaches actually did pretty well in terms of team success. You
Yeah.
just didn't get over that hump that you were hoping for in terms of expectations being concerned. But that's neither here nor there. But now you got Doc Rivers as your head coach, and Dame and Giannis are still not showing that sign of complete chemistry
They're
as
so
a
bad.
unit. Yeah,
Like
it's bad, and I
it's
and I
it's
understand it.
it's so disappointing. I think that's better term. It's not
Yes,
sad. It's disappointing.
yeah, it is. And so when you have a guy in Giannis who is quietly, and I can't even say quietly when he's in the MVP conversation, but when you're quietly averaging 30, 11, and 6, like, you know what I mean? Like, you expect for that team to be fighting for the number one seed in the East. Like you
Ab-
just do.
Absolutely, especially since you were the number one seed in the East last year.
Yeah. Okay. So you just expect that. That's just the expectation thing. But then when you see, and I want to give grace to Dame because this is his first year in Milwaukee. He's had some adjustments that he's experiencing personally that he's trying to get through to cycle through, getting used to the city, getting used to different things like that. I get that. But the drop off from this year and last year and the
Yeah,
year before that is substantial and it's
very
bad.
bad, bad.
um so that is my one flaw for the for the Bucks is that they just don't have the chemistry and they don't have enough time to quote unquote try to figure it out. Because even if you look at what their first round matchup would be, it would give them fits regardless of who it is. And
Yeah,
let's hope it's not the Sixers with a returning Joel Embiid that could work seamlessly. I know that's asking a lot, but with a coach and Nick Nurse, he'll figure out a way. Um, but that's the Bucks. And then after that, you got the Knicks, Cavs, Magic, Pacers. Those teams I like. Some of them I love, but it's just not their time. Like
yeah.
that's the best way I can
The
describe
the
it.
magic is, I think, what you're alluding to.
What? Ah, yeah.
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 No, don't lie to me.
I tried, man. I tried. But I am very impressed with what the Magic have done though this year.
Yes.
Because if you remember, before the season started, I was prepared for the Magic to be where Charlotte is at in terms of timeline of a team. Um, where what's up, Chris? What's up, Christy? How you doing?
Hello.
Um, where I was just anticipating for them to just have another underwhelming season, led by one of the stars in the league in Paulo, and then just not a whole lot of anything else beside him. But this year, it's like the polar opposite. And granted, I know at the beginning of the year they started off being second seed in the East or something like that, something crazy, but they're down to 5. The fact that they're in a playoff conversation right now is a success. Let's just
Yes.
say that, okay?
I agree.
let's just see that, right? So that is just the Magic. It's just not their time, and that is okay. I
Yeah.
think they can use this offseason. They could probably use some free agents maybe to bolster up their backcourt because they really just need a whole lot of more backcourt playmaking, in my personal opinion.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep.
but other than that, that's a solid group. Obviously, with the Pacers, their issue is just injuries. obviously Tyrese is not 100%, and that's been the case for
Yeah.
3 months now, which sucks because he's literally playing hurt so that way he can get the bag. Cavs,
Yeah,
don't trust him.
he deserves it. Yeah, I don't trust the Cavs
Yeah.
either. I've been screwed. Shout out Mark Wilson. I've been screwed over betting on the Cavs too many times.
Yes. Yes. The Cavs just they're just not it. I don't know why. Maybe it's a Darius Garland / Donovan Mitchell inconsistency. I don't know, but it's just not lining up for Cleveland. Because there's still a bunch of young guys who are trying to figure it out while Donovan Mitchell is trying to win now, still in his prime. So their timeline issue is in question for Cleveland.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah. And then there's the Knicks, which, my God, let me tell you something right now, man. I love the Knicks. Let me say this right now. I love the Knicks so much for what they've been able to do with the talent that they have left. But I don't want to hear any noise about them in the playoffs if no one comes back. Not a single soul. If Julius Randle don't come back healthy, if OG Anunoby does not come back healthy, I don't want to hear a word about anything Knicks related. Okay? I'm going to have to literally hear the words that the Knicks won a playoff game or won a playoff series for me to say, oh, this season is a success. Until then, I'm sorry. I can't do it. Their season is basically ending on the fact that no one's there.
Yeah.
You know the world's turned upside down when Josh Hart is getting triple doubles out of nowhere and he's playing power forward and he's 6'5". Like that's just not going to cut it. I'm sorry. In a playoff setting, that's just not going to work.
It's not in a 7-game series. It's not.
No. So that's just my viewpoint on the Knicks. The Knicks and Pacers just injuries. Cavs and Magic it's just not their time right now, and that's okay.
I'm so happy Phibbs is the coach of the Knicks because I love watching playoff basketball in New York, but I also love the fact that they don't win, and he's like the perfect coach for that.
Go ahead. I know you've been sitting on this for a while. What is your fib? What is your fib with Thibs, sir?
Name one time in the playoffs that this has done it. Like that. Like, oh my God! Like, what a great. Like, the only reason this dude is still coaching is because Derrick Rose was a ball of talent. I mean, to Thibs' credit, he's the only reason Doc Rivers has a ring, which is impressive in itself. But with that being said, that was a long time ago. And yes, he has New York rolling, which is fantastic. But there's no way in hell they'll ever win a championship. And it's fantastic to know that. I don't have to worry about a.
You've been sitting on, I know you've been sitting on this. You've been wanting to say this for like the last 3 months. I know you've been wanting that sentence to get out to the masses so bad. I had to give you your floor. Oh my God.
I will admit it's been on my mind.
I know it has. I know you have. I know it has. Your beef with coaches will never end. It will never die. And I love it.
Yeah, no, never. I'm not even gonna try and lie. It will never die. That's all right. That's all
right. Speaking of things that will never die, we'll actually segue into something that does involve something that dies. We're gonna talk about funerals. I know the segues are something else today.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Shoot, I'm gonna let you take the floor on this one because my thing on funerals is a little bit different these days. Go for it.
My grandma died recently, and I had her funeral last week, and it was an experience, at least for me, because like in Hawaii, it's weird because when someone dies, we just throw a party, and
celebration.
but like I don't know. When I was in the chapel and I was thinking, it was like I was so sad and so depressed. And then, like
Mhm.
less than 2 hours later, I was hammered. And I think that's such a funny way to celebrate human life. I honestly think that's what makes this country great. Is that we do shit like this.
I believe every last word this man just said. In that exact time span, by the way. Oh, how you do that? I can only imagine. But we'll get into that in a second.
I cannot help how I feel. I'm sorry.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
Thank you.
And my take on funerals these days, right, is as I've gotten older, I've had a different perspective every single time someone that I know of dies.
Okay.
Like it's just it's a different perspective every time. And it drives people nuts when I explain it to them. So when I explain it here, it's probably going to drive somebody else nuts, and it's okay. I hope that someone can understand what I'm about to say. But when I break it down, you'll know why. Right. So
Okay.
when it's someone that's close to me, I feel it.
Okay.
Right. When it's say my parents, or say it's my cousins, or say it's one of my brothers, or say it's you know eh, my girlfriend or wife or whatever. If it's someone that's close to me, if it's my kids, it hits me.
Mhm.
And so I know that when that time comes around to see the body, to go through the song and dance of the funeral,
Mhm.
I know, I know that all of my emotions are going to be out there. It's going to by default.
Okay.
The switch comes into play when someone asks me if I'm going to someone's funeral that I didn't have a close knit relationship with.
Okay.
And here's what I mean by that, right? Because I tell them, nah, I don't think it's fit for me to be there. And they're like, what do you mean? Y'all used to talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do you feel like you're not fit to be there? And my response is always, I don't want to be put in a situation where, say, one of those close family members of that person that passed away comes up to me and they ask me, how do I remember them?
Yeah.
And I give them a cliche slash uh uh kind of a lie,
Okay.
honestly,
Yeah.
of what I remember them to be, when that wasn't the case, right?
Mhm.
And I don't want to be in that predicament. I
Okay.
don't. I just don't. I'd rather not,
That's fair.
because the whole purpose of being in that environment, in that setting, is that every single person that is in that building
Mhm.
has a a some sense of closeness to that person. They
Okay.
have some sense of, wow, this person meant a lot to me. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm feeling the emotions that I'm feeling.
Okay.
But that's every single person that's in that building. That is the expectation with every person that's in that building, at least in
Right.
my eyes.
Right. That's
But
fair.
when
That's
you
fair.
just have, but when you just have random people that are there that we're just like, didn't y'all just get into a fight not too long before they died? Like, I thought y'all were never cool. Why are you here? Like,
Mhm.
when those type of things start to arise, that's what makes it kind of raising the eyebrow. Is like, is this really, like, are we really doing this right now? What are you doing here? Right. So that is just my mind frame when it comes to funerals, because I know for me, when I die, when I have my funeral, I want every single person in that building to have a sense of, wow, Thomas meant a lot to me, and that's the reason why I'm here. Like, I do not want any outsiders at my funeral. I'm sorry. Hey, if God sees it fit for either one of us to be in a famous position to where we just have fans in the arena, like off some Kobe stuff, then okay, that's fine. That's allowed because you have a following, and with a fan following, you have that sensibility when it comes to being attached to that specific entertainer or personality, whatever case may be. It just hits a little different for you, right?
Okay.
That's fine. But if I don't get to that stratosphere, everyone who knows me, that's who needs to be in that building. And I only view that as fair, and I want to apply that when it comes to other people's funerals. It's not that I'm being disrespectful by me not being there, or that I don't want to be there. It's just it's actually the respectful manner of, if I didn't have that close knit of a relation with you, why am I there?
Well, let me ask you this then.
Sure.
Is it better to have a small funeral with your close friends or a big funeral with lots of people?
Ooh.
How about this? Instead of put you as the deceased person, what if it's like a family member that you're close to? What would you want their funeral to look like?
If it was someone that was close to me,
because that could either prove your point or like also ruin it. So
yeah, if it's close to me, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think anybody's in the famous stratosphere, because I think that's the only that for me, that is the only basis that I'll go off of as to why any outsider would be a part of that environment.
Is it famous?
Yes. Because you have all that following behind you. It's more than just that family there.
All right. So how about this? Let's play a game. I will say the celebrity, and you will tell me yes or no if they get an invite to the funeral.
Okay.
Usher.
To mine?
No, to like a close family.
Or theirs. Okay. No,
like, what are your close family members? You're organizing it. You decide who comes.
Okay.
Usher.
If that's their favorite musician, sure.
No. You gotta decide. It's up to you.
Oh, it's up to me?
Yeah.
No.
No on Usher?
No.
Chris Brown?
No.
Oh. Okay. Celine Dion?
No.
No, Jesus. So you're just gonna say no to everybody? Fucking P. Diddy?
No.
R. Kelly?
Hell no!
What if he promises to do all your family members' braids for 2 weeks? Okay, how about Bill Cosby pre-allegations?
Nah.
No? Not even before you knew that he was doing some shit?
No. Can't do it.
Okay. Beyonce?
Nah.
Really?
I love her too. Yeah.
That's tough. The Beehive gonna come after you, bro. Get after your ass.
I'm gonna get stung so bad, dog.
They gonna fucking raise that casket out of the ground just so you gotta rebury it again. All right.
But yeah, nah.
If you had to invite one, R. Kelly or
out of the two?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. It's a toughie. It's a toughie.
If I had to, oh my god,
I don't
neither.
know. No, you can't. You have to pick one. All right. I'll go first. I'll go first if you go.
Go first. Okay.
Okay, I'll go P Diddy because there's like less like weird shit. Like, oh fuck, it's so tough. Cause like there's like less like is documented, but like there's a lot of fucking like I think so, and like I can like kind of confirm. Oh no, I no, sorry, I can't. Robert fucked up badly, so I gotta go with P Diddy.
Okay.
All right, if you could ask P Diddy one question, what would you ask him?
Dog, what were you thinking?
Oh, I'll say who actually killed Tupac.
Oh,
Cause I know it was
yeah.
you. Like I know it was you. Like you were in the car for sure. Like
This
like,
guy, this guy.
you were in the car, bro. Like let's not mince words. You were definitely in the car.
Oh man, oh my god, the pushing allegations today is hilarious, and I love it. I love it so much.
All right,
Yeah,
all right,
it
all
would
right.
probably
How
be.
about this? Let's say we live in like a feudal system, right?
Okay.
And you are the head of the family, and you have to marry off your
Okay.
daughter. All right.
Okay. Oh my
Who
god.
who would you pick between P Diddy and Chris Brown?
Wow.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a toughie, isn't it?
yeah, it is. And not for good reason. Um, Jeez Louise, Brock.
Shit. I change it up. I change it up.
Yeah, I'm kind of screwed either way, and I'm gonna have to apologize to my daughter every single day. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Chris Brown
Okay.
or Trey Songz. That's a tough one.
Come
All right.
on, Trey. Come on, Trey.
All right.
Come on, Trey.
I got a new one. I got a new one.
Okay.
Gilbert Arenas or Boozy.
Hey, you know what, man?
What?
Give me Gilly, dog. Give me
Yeah,
Gilly
yeah,
boy.
that's good.
Give
That's
me
good.
Gilly boy.
All right.
I'll take Gilly boy.
Chris Brown or Boozy.
Mm.
That's a toughie, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Give me. I'll take Booze. Why not?
To say Boozy. Yeah,
Yeah.
damn.
It's a tough one though. It's a tough one though.
That is a tough one.
Oh my god.
All right.
Oh my god. I know you're not coming up with these names off the back of your head, man.
I am.
There ain't no way.
Would you rather be Chris Brown's baby mama or 50 Cent's baby mama?
Baby dad, you meant?
Baby mama, you having the kids.
Oh.
You gain
That's
the
what I'm having them with?
Yeah, you gain the child support. Who are you taking?
Between who and who again? It's Diddy and who?
No, it's Chris Brown and 50 Cent.
Oh, Chris. Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe Chris Brown, because at least I'll hear a word about her.
That's fair.
50 Cent. I feel like every 3 months I hear that there's $50 million that's being added to child support every year. So I don't want that to be me.
All right. Would you rather be like if you hooked up with like one of the hypothetical daughters, right? Would you rather be the son-in-law or baby daddy to the kids of Floyd Mayweather's daughters or 50 Cent's daughters?
Mm. You know what, man? Probably 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Probably 50 Cent. I feel like this ironically sounds very idiotic to say, but maybe that's a safe option. All things considered.
Maybe, but like I feel like Floyd just don't care.
Floyd doesn't care though.
That's, that's, that's what I'm saying. I think like, Floyd might be the better option.
Jesus
I know.
Christ.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
I can't believe you're doing this, sir.
I know
I
I'm
can't
the
believe you're
worst.
doing this.
Yeah, that's the question.
All right. So before we get out of here, um, we're gonna talk about the mom/son dynamic
Yep.
versus the mom/daughter dynamic and the comparison between the two. Um, what you personally brought this up, and I'm curious as to know why. I'm gonna sit back and watch this one. What do you think,
So,
man? Before I get
so
into it.
at my grandma's funeral, I saw a lot of family members come in, and a lot of those
Okay.
family members are mothers, and a lot of them have one of each flavor: a one daughter, one son, and how the
Okay.
son is treated compared to the daughter is like drastically different. I mean, you can even say that about the person whose funeral we went to. My grandma, she treated my mom and my uncle very different. So, like,
Okay.
in conclusion, what the hell is with moms and their sons? Like it's like like that's the real epidemic in this country. Like the way like moms coddle the hell out of their sons and just be like hella like mean as fuck to the daughters.
Ooh. Um.
Like it's gotta be an incest thing, right?
I didn't think you were going that far, sir.
I think
But
so. I think moms sometimes want to emotionally bone, and I see this at no
oh
experience as
my
I only have a
god.
brother, so like I don't know, but like I
Oh.
think about it. Like a son is like a woman's perfect man. He'll listen to what you say. He'll love you forever, and he'll never really leave you. And even when he leaves you, he's always thinking about you.
Yes, that's true.
And he can legitimately never cheat on you until he finds his wife.
I feel like that last part was just completely indebted in Brock Vieiraism, and I'll take it, by the way, because you're actually not wrong.
I'm just saying,
Um,
like, how about this?
okay.
Sometimes a mom and son relationship can be like a one-sided open marriage.
Mm.
Like she'll let you have your little fun with your little hoes as long as you always go home to mama, and she'll cook you a good meal.
Talk about in regards to the son or
Yeah,
the daughter.
like the son
Oh,
can go. Like, the son can go. Like the son can like go on dates and stuff, and that's like sleeping with the other chicks. But as long as he always knows mama's number one woman in his heart.
that's all that matters. Ah, man.
But like
You
they
know
don't give
what?
a shit about their daughters. Like they don't care. They're just like
You know what?
they're just like that weird like half friend you only friends with because your friend was friends with them.
Oh, wow.
That's all, yeah, I know.
Interesting.
I'm not
Interesting.
I'm not trying to hurt nobody. I know that it's a lot to think about on a beautiful Saturday morning, Friday, whatever we are. Good Friday. But if you observe Good Friday
Um,
and you don't have a good relationship with your mother and you are a daughter, I'm sorry.
uh, well, you know, and I'm just thinking about this blindly. So for those out there who have a very great relationship as a daughter with their mother, then this doesn't really apply to you. But if I had to kind of bridge the gap between the two, I would say the I think it's just the fact that the mother has this sort of expectation that they view the daughter that they usually just don't think about when it comes to the son. Like when they look at their daughter, they kind of see them as like don't whatever you do not do anything I did. Don't do anything I did because that's how you got here. And don't do anything I did because that's what got us to this position or this situation or whatever the case may be. Like just don't do anything I did. Just do a complete opposite. But at the same time, you also need to listen to every word that I'm saying, because even though I'm telling you that this is not the way to go, I'm also giving you, due to my experience, of why you don't need to go there. And there's always that, and it's the same way when it comes to sons and fathers. I think it's the same way when it comes to mothers and daughters. Like there's always that sense of having to always have a battle with the head of the household, I guess you could say. So if you're the daughter, you always feel like you're in competition as you get older with mom when it comes to attention or when it comes to whatever case may be. You just always feel that in your head. That you may not openly admit it, but it may be a thing.
I, I don't think it's the same for fathers and daughters. I think that like the fathers that like replace their wives with their daughters are just perverts.
Well,
Because
I
like
hope that they're not replacing them.
I just say because like there always seems to be like this weird physical element involved that is just perverted. But like with moms, it's like purely emotional, you know. So
Yeah.
like I feel like when a man as a father isn't get fulfilled in his female companion relationships, he seeks comfort outside the marriage. Where like I feel like women, like moms and sons, does the moms seek comfort within her baby boy as like the replacement for the man who she never really what if like you know how Freud said that like basically dudes find girls that are versions of their mom and the reverse opposite? Um let's go as the reverse opposite. Like what if that's the opposite when it comes to moms and sons? What if sons turns out like the early versions of the men they date?
Ooh, that's a
I,
good point, Brock. That's a good point, Brock.
like the dream guy, so they can like groom them in that way. That's why they are the way they are. That's why the mama don't want to lose them because they've been literally grooming them to be the perfect man for damn near 21 years. That's a long time to grow
Yeah,
something.
right. Um, that's a good point, Brock. But you know what where the disconnect is though. The
Oh, talk to me.
disconnect, the disconnect comes into play when they're trying to mold that man without what two things. Either A, the father figure or the father itself is not in the picture altogether,
Okay.
or B, just the fact that the times are different. So you're grooming your child from the early 2000s to be a man that's great for the 2000s, but that doesn't necessarily apply to the 2020s.
Mm.
Like it sounds very Mickey to say, but it's very true at the same time. Like you have to adapt as a parent with the times that are currently constructed. And when you don't do that, you're putting the child that you're trying to groom in the, you know, kind of at a disadvantage in a way. Cause they're thinking, oh, well, my parents are, you know, raising me to be this type of way to have a certain outlook when it comes to uh females and how to treat them and this, that, and the third. And then you have an encounter with a female, regardless of what the environment is, whether you're at the store or you're at McDonald's or something,
Hmm.
and the female is doing the direct opposite of what you were trained and what you thought the the interaction would be, and you're just like, oh, uh, how do I respond to that without going to jail?
That's
Like,
fair.
I don't know. So I think it's twofold. I think it's twofold in a way, which is very interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, bro.
Well, I will say this.
Okay.
Are there any major, like, really close, like, almost incestuous boy mom relationships with a mom that has a good relationship with her husband or a good relationship with her baby daddy?
I don't think so. Not that I know of, at least.
That's what I'm saying though. So does that only stem from like replacements? Like in like my situation, if like my it's complex, but if there was like a strong father figure around, would that have changed the dynamic?
In terms of the relationship between mom and you as a son?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the thing about it is kind of treat it like a job, if you will. There may be a general manager, but there's also assistant managers in the same room as well. So when you have those meetings, you know, you may have the boss that says X, Y, and Z, but the reason why there is assistant managers there is so that way they could say either actually that makes sense, we're going to follow that, or we'll say, hey, that doesn't make sense. Let's discuss an alternative so that way we can get to the same destination just in a more efficient or simpler way that could avoid all the extra landmines that we had to go through otherwise. So I do personally believe that with having that figure there, that there's just that other voice, that stronger voice that they may choose, they can choose not to listen to, but as long as that figure is there, as long as he's there, oh, trust me, when y'all have that one-on-one time, hey, I know what your mom is saying, and that's cool, but over here, that's not gonna fly, and that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? And so, but then at that point, it's up to you. Like, okay, you know, I'm hearing this from my mom, and that sounds great, but my dad is actually, or this, you know, my father figure is actually showing me the way too, and he's actually the same species as me. So, do I really feel like I should go against that more than anything else? So, you know, I just think it's one of those things where the ball's in your court. But that only happens if that other voice is there. When it's not there, then that just, you know, then it becomes a hierarchy thing of, you know, who's going to tell me? There ain't nobody here to tell me. So it's going to be my way or the highway, which sucks. It's Mickey. Shouldn't be that way, but it is what it is.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. It's just so weird, these family dynamics, the way that they occur.
Don't get me started, man. Please don't get me started. My God. My God.
I understand.
Before we get out of here, Brock, do we have any last words, man, before we get out of here?
Nah, it was a good show. I appreciate everyone that's watched. I'm happy to finally be on. Had to take care of my grandma last week, finally later to rest. So now we're back to business, and looking forward to more good shows.
All right, man. Well, it's been the conclusion of the Off the Dome show, featuring your hosts Thomas Brown Jr. and Brock Vieira of the MBS Team MBS crew, Team MBS Media. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Feel like we're missing a platform in there somewhere. TikTok. There you go. We're on there too. Follow us at Team MBS Media. And before we get out of here, let's look at some commercials, shall we?
Streetwear is not dead. The next wave of black fashion comes out of the Bronx, New York. Rich Kid Clothing, picking up where FUBU, Rockaware, and Kyle Kanai left off. Rich Kid is for the next generation of Get Fly fashion heads. Use promo code MELLOW23 for 15% off your next order. And for orders over $100, there is free shipping. Again, use promo code MELLOW23 for 15% off your next order.
In 2006, we founded Yeti Coolers with a simple mission: build the cooler we use every day if it existed. One that was built for the serious outdoor enthusiasts rather than for mass discount retailers. One that could take the abuse we knew we'd put it through, out in the field and on the water. One that simply wouldn't break. We decided early on that production innovation would come from necessity and first-hand experience, not from market research and data analysis. Today, Yeti products perform when it matters most. Whether that be an excursion into the remote Alaskan wilderness, chasing redfish on the Gold Coast, or just getting together with friends in the backyard, we make gear that helps you stay out longer, travel farther, and live harder. #built for the wild.